Surviving infidelity. Just want to vent my 27 male experience on being cheated on and moving forward. Hello, just wanted to share my story with people that have been through what I went through. So, I was married with a almost 3-year-old daughter when I found out my wife, 26 female, cheated on me. This happened when she went on a cruise with her 2 girlfriends. They left and came back, then a few days later after getting back, my ex-wife now states that she thinks we need to separate for a while, the day before my daughter's 3rd birthday party. This was out of nowhere as we had never had this kind of discussion before. Backstory: I was in school at the time, working full-time and taking care of my daughter in between, along with moving to a new house in our town. We would argue, and honestly didn't have the best communication skills. With all that being said, when she asked me about going on the cruise, I said sure, no problem. She watched our daughter the majority of the time and I felt like it would be a nice thing for her to do with friends, even though we didn't really have the money to be doing it at the time. I would watch our daughter while she went. So, after she asked me about separating, I was very upset and ended up leaving for the night to go to my parents' house, and we ended up canceling her birthday party with the family. We end up talking and agreeing to try and work things out. So, I find a marriage counselor and get us going to her that week. We were going for about 3 to 4 weeks until I found out the real reason for her wanting to separate. The 2 friends that went with her on the cruise were mutual friends of mine too, and we all actually worked together at that time. Friend 1 was acting semi-normal. Friend 2 was a little uneasy talking with me, and knew about my ex-wife wanting to separate with me. She knew we were going to counseling now and asked me how everything was going. I told her I thought it was going well. Also of note, my wife at the time was telling me that friend 2 was acting weird on the cruise, and got upset at her, and friend 1 didn't really disclose anymore. So fast forward to me and friend 2 talking at work, when I tell her friend 1 and my ex-wife were going to another city for a girls' trip that next week. That's when she tells me hesitantly about some guy whose name I had never heard. She had been talking to my then wife about it all, trying to get her to come clean about the whole thing to me. My ex-wife had told her that she stopped talking to the guy and wasn't going to do anything else. She also told me that friend 1 also slept with the guy on the cruise, and they were trying to get friend 2 to join with the 3rd guy. I go home after work and confront her about this guy. She tries to deny the whole thing. I press her more. She finally acknowledged that she had slept with him on the cruise. She was also still actively talking and texting him daily while we were going to marriage counseling. That day, I moved out and got a lawyer. We agreed upon a split custody of our daughter until we figured everything out. We discussed our relationship more and more, and finally agreed upon trying to reconcile a few weeks after me moving out. I drove all the way to our house. I had moved in with my parents at that point 45 minutes away. When I got there, I said, if we are going to do this, you have quit talking to the guy and friend 1 who you did all this with. She wouldn't do it. She wouldn't quit talking to him and her to salvage a 9-year relationship. That's when I knew she wasn't the person I thought she was. The coming months were absolute hell. She would manipulate me into watching our daughter on her days so she could go to see her new boyfriend up north. Lies after lies after lies. She quit talking to friend 2 since she told me what happened. She told me it was my fault at one point because we didn't communicate well and would argue. Put me through absolute hell. Fast forward, friend 2 and I became even closer friends through all this and started dating each other. We've been dating each other for over a year now. She is a good person with the same moral values as me, and loves my daughter just as much as me. I have 50-50 custody of my daughter, which I love. I keep thinking, why did this happen to me? But I've come to realize it has made me stronger. She was in the wrong. No matter how bad she says our relationship was, doesn't excuse the lies, cheating, and manipulative behavior she put me through. Also, around 9 months after everything, she came crawling back to me, saying it was all a mistake and she was sorry. This and that. Wanted to work it out, that she had quit talking to him a few months after everything. Total BS. She showed me her true character when I was bawling my eyes out after finding out about the cheating, and her spitting all over me. Sorry for the long read, felt good to write it out. I'm in a great place in my life with a beautiful woman and daughter who appreciates me. Now for the top comments. Took you a few tries to end it, but you made it and ended up in a better place. Well done. She took you for granted. You're a good and strong man. You survived and turned your life for better. You show us the way. I'm happy for you. Well done. No use for that woman and no need to communicate other than parenting. She can be someone else's problem. Thanks for sharing your story. Hopefully other people will learn from your experiences. I have a lot of wild stories, odd stories, I think unusual stories, but all within the range of normality and human behavior. I have heard of your situation a number of times, which, to me, has 2 aspects: 1, meeting a guy she is intrigued with, and 2, camaraderie and dating guys in tandem with her friend. So when I was a young man, I saw both of these situations play out. There was a guy I played ball with. He was a year older, and he had a brother who was a few years younger. One brother met a girl, dated, and the girl introduced her friend to brother number 2. One brother got engaged, the other brother got engaged, one got married, the other got married, one had a kid, the other had a kid, one got a house, the other bought a house right next door. I knew the brothers enough, they didn't do this because of the camaraderie they had together. This was largely propelled by the 2 best girlfriends, who pushed the boys to propose, live next to each other, etc. We got older, I saw the boys and their wives less and less, but still we had the same big network of 6 degrees of separation, so I'd hear any big news and anybody in this big circle. One day I am told, one wife left one brother, the very next day, the other wife left the other brother. I'm sorry, I don't know more than that, if any begging happened afterwards, but both got divorced, eventually remarried. More likely, in my experience, one friend wouldn't get married, or leave a marriage because the other friend did. But so many times, I've seen toxic friends influence the affair, cheerlead it, encourage it, and having a partner in crime helps not to feel so guilty, to support, say in the case of a wife cheating, you go girl, you deserve this. Guys do it a little differently, but basically the same feeling. Which do you think was the situation in your wife's case? Does she be so willing to leave the marriage for a guy she only met a relatively short time ago if not for the toxic friend? Or was she that enamored of this new guy that she was willing to roll the dice with him? Now for the next story. Found out wife, 34, cheated on me, 36, last night. First post ever on Reddit, friend pointed me here and please bear with me if I don't get all the abbreviations right. So last night, I received a text from a random number with a pic of my wife, sleeping, and some random guy in our bed. That text was followed by nudes and action pics. I sat there looking and not knowing what I was looking at. I was confused, shocked, angry and sad. I looked at her, playing a game with the kids at the table. I wanted to scream and yell at her, to grab stuff and start throwing it. I knew what she had done, I couldn't change it and she couldn't deny it, so I got up, grabbed my keys and told her to text me when the kids went to bed. I just drove around for 2 hours, music blasting, crying and hitting my steering wheel. When I got home, I asked her to meet me in the bedroom so we could talk. I remained calm and just told her to look through the message. Her face went ghost white and she began to cry. She wanted to stop at the first pic. I told her she need to see them all, 14 of them. After she finished, I didn't say a word, but she let everything out. She said it ended when COVID started, it went on for 4 years, he was crazy, and trapped her when she was in a bad place. She said she knew it was wrong, but he told her if she stopped seeing him, he would contact me. She said with COVID it was impossible to meet, so she thought she was safe. She cried, said she was sorry, etc. I asked to see her phone and to unlock it. Again, she went white. I started looking through her texts. She had messed up. She had 4 years of text messages, and after sitting up all night reading most of them, she wasn't trapped in the affair at all. More I love yous than I can count, talks of leaving me and moving in together, and pics and descriptions of bedroom acts that she always told me no. I had to leave. I packed a bag and drove to a friend's. She has been blowing my phone up all day. I don't know what to say to her. Where do I go from here? Thank you all for the support and advice. Now for the top advice. First thing is first, get a good lawyer ASAP. Leaving your marital home can screw you over in some states and not in others, so you need to find out the impact going forward. No coming back from this, no way, no how. Frankly, I would go scorched earth but with kids, not sure that will help anything in the long run. DNA test for the kids. STD test for you. I'm sorry this happened to you. That's a knee-jerk unhelpful approach. You don't need a lawyer, you need a while to process. Then decide, not now. I disagree. Even if he chooses not to leave, he still needs legal advice on options, how to protect his assets and childcare issues, etc. I think you know what needs to happen next, but I'll be more than happy to lend a helping hand. 1. Lawyer up ASAP. Get a real shark of an attorney, and not some chump straight out of law school. 2. Get an STD test done immediately. Chances are high that this other guy is sleeping around with multiple women besides your wife. 3. Go back to your house and kick her out. Leaving the Marshall home can screw you over big time in the divorce. Yes, you're getting divorced. If she tells you she has nowhere else to go, tell her that's not true, as she can now live with her boyfriend. 4. Have a paternity test done on the kids. You need to know if they're yours or not. 5. Make it absolutely clear to your soon-to-be ex-wife that reconciliation and marriage counseling is not an option and that all communication between you two will be only regarding the kids, and all other communication will be through your attorney. 6. Separate your finances and assets by opening up a new bank account and have your paychecks direct deposited into the new account. Cancel all joint credit cards and anything financial together. Any upcoming events and trips are hereby canceled. 7. Notify everyone including friends and family of her affair and the details surrounding it. You cannot hide your wife's dirty little secrets any longer. Please understand that you don't have to be hasty in these steps, but definitely start separating yourself from your wife. Some people may think this marriage can be saved. I vehemently disagree. Her level of betrayal is not something that is forgivable, nor a candidate for reconciliation. I'll also add, change the beneficiary of bank and retirement accounts as well as your life insurance. Consider a trust for your kids, make yourself the trustee and name someone you can trust or a bank the alternative/backup trustee. Descriptions of bedroom acts that she always told me no. There's disrespect and then there's this. I think you know what to do. Now for the last story. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to start this. I found out my wife has been cheating on me with an ex-boyfriend. She had been acting suspicious for over a year, but I wasn't sure what to do. She has been very attached/possessive of her phone, staying out late, hanging out with her friends, or working. Some days I hardly hear from her, and other days it seems that everything's completely normal. Back in early October 2020, it was starting to be less normal and more her not being present in our marriage, our life, or with her child. She kept saying how she went to this woman's house, let's call her Susan. Susan apparently needs lots of help. She slowly made Susan a priority. I didn't see my wife on Halloween, Thanksgiving, or Christmas Eve because she was with Susan. My stepchild told her father that she saw my wife's ex-boyfriend at Susan's house, and her father decided to tell me on Christmas Eve. I pieced together that Susan is the mother to the ex-boyfriend. I try and give her the benefit of the doubt, because at least she still comes home majority of the time. Every time I confront her, she claims she's not cheating on me and that she would never do it. That I'm too good for her, and that I deserve better, and that she is better off alone. In January of 2021, she told me she was staying over a friend's house because she was too tired to drive home from work, and she would see me in the morning. I decided I would go to the ex's house, which is also where Susan lives, to see if she was there. Her car was parked outside. I went home and packed a bag and went to my parents. After a couple of days of being there, she came over and we talked. She was a wreck. The worst I ever seen her. Saying how sorry she is and that she doesn't know what's wrong with her. I decide to go back home. My stepdaughter comes to me upset and tells me, "Mom's not cheating on you." Anyways, everything's going okay for the most part. Still strange behavior, but I can see she was making an effort. Then, she tells me Susan wants to go on a vacation, in our state, for a couple of days and needs my wife's help to take care of her, and she asked me if she could go. I told her I don't think it's a good idea, but she decides to go anyways. I don't hear from her that much for those couple of days. During one of those days, I went into my garage and I realized my wife left one of her small bags behind. I open it up to find a receipt for lube she bought at a drugstore 10 minutes away from where her ex lives. It dates back to September of 2020. My heart sank. I wait for her to come home, but don't want to confront her in front of my stepdaughter. So I wait till the weekend. She's acting completely normal, like nothing ever happened, but I'm fuming inside. Friday comes along and my wife calls me to yell at me for something, and I snap. I tell her I know she's sleeping with her ex. She goes silent, and tells me I pushed her away. It's all my fault. It got really ugly after that. She hung up on me. I finished work that day, went home, and packed my stuff. She was there crying and sobbing. I felt bad, so I decided to sleep on the couch. That entire weekend I decided to keep to myself, but she was back to her old self. She was the perfect wife. She cooked every meal. She cleaned. I still feel like I can see the woman I married, and it's been hard for me to let her go. I'm so conflicted because I married this woman for a reason. I feel so lost in my own head. During this whole crap show, I reached out to one of my friends when this whole thing started, and she's been a lifesaver to me. She listens to me talk, gives me advice, and has overall been the biggest help. She suspected my wife was cheating on me well before I believed it. I have some feelings for her and I know she has them for me too. We have been friends for many years and talking with her just feels right, but when I come home I feel wrapped in the memories in our house. I feel stuck. I just don't know what to do about any of this and I can't think straight. Now for top advice. Dude, don't leave her, she still needs you to babysit. You're a bad guy. But I laughed with your comment. I'm not a bad guy, I just try for this guy to understand for his own benefit. Yeah, I was kinda lost on counting how many times she left OP to go sleep with ex-boyfriend, but to this sub we've seen many people act like doormats and I don't know why they do it, except if there are kids around and they stay for their sake. I'm so conflicted because I married this woman for a reason. You married a mirage. You married an image of a person you thought she was. That person does not exist, it's all smoke and mirrors. Don't you think you've had enough lies in your life? She's been lying to you for years. File for divorce and stop lying to yourself. You are not a husband. You are a puppet. She has been manipulating you for her own ends. This is not a marriage. Marriage is a total positive commitment to each other. Get out of it. She throws you a doggy bone, love bombs you, every once in a while, to keep you in servitude. Maybe it's not obvious, but cheaters get empowered when they get away with crap like she has for so long, without you establishing harsh consequences. Your wife knows you will stick around no matter what she does. She can screw other guys, and all you do is complain a little. For the sake of your own self-esteem, get out of this relationship ASAP. Sure, she feels a little guilt, but that won't stop her no matter what. Her wants trump your well-being. Stop letting a few tears break your resolve. Second, why stay? You really need to think this through, assuming that cheating will continue indefinitely. Is that a life you really want? Go talk to a good lawyer so you know what your options are. I know it may seem like the world is crumbling right now, but you will be better off without someone like her in your life. And that's it for this video, guys. If you have thoughts to share, leave a comment below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you like this content. I'll catch you in the next one. Good day, everyone.